Welcome back. Bharti Airtel is doing well now. It's recovering from the lows, currently at the high point of trade for that stock, up around 1.5%. And then we have Hero MotoCorp as well, recovering from the morning lows, up around 1.6% from the lows at the high point of trade. So let's talk about individual stocks itself. And I did speak about Hero MotoCorp. So let's go back to Sonia. Sonia, automakers seeing a bit of profit taking, but it was a decent month, right?
It was a good month. And as you said, there's some profit taking because these stocks have rallied a whole lot. So I decided to bucket them into good, bad and decent numbers this time. Let's start with the strong earnings. The best of the lot by far has been Eicher Motors with its Royal Enfield numbers, bumper sales over there. These are the wholesale numbers, so the amount that they sell to the dealers. And over there, 82,000 units is what they sold, which is a 145% year-on-year growth, very strong. Ashok Leyland next up reported very good numbers as well, highest sales since March of this year. Total sales up 84% on a year-on-year basis. M&M as well was not too far behind. Its recent blockbuster launches have resulted in very strong numbers, record high numbers for them, 64,486 units, which is a growth of 129%. M&M now has the #1 position in the SUV market by revenue and market share, so that's looking very good. SUV sales itself went up 166% year-on-year, and the management told us just a while back that the market share now in the SUV space is 19%. Escorts Kubota as well, very strong growth in September, total tractor sales up by almost 40%, and Tata Motors too, total domestic sales went up 44%, very strong growth in the passenger vehicle sales, although commercial vehicles was a bit of a low single-digit growth. On the weaker side, almost all two-wheelers reported weakness in sales. So Hero Moto total sales were down 2%. Bajaj Auto, quite a bit of weakness in exports over there. Export sales down 33%. And TVS Motor as well. Overall sales growth was 9%, but exports were down about 9.2%. And for Maruti, it was a decent showing, slightly below what Nomura was expecting, but nevertheless a sales growth of 104%. Although both Maruti and M&M have told us that recent headwinds like higher inflation, higher interest rates could perhaps dampen demand in the near future.
Okay, all right, Sonia. So that's on the entire auto sales segment. But ONGC is the other stock in focus. It is managing to gain in trade. In our special segment, Value Add, Sonal is here to tell us the impact on the stock after the government revised up gas prices and windfall tax cuts on crude. Sonal, over to you.
Thank you so much for that. Well, multiple things which are working in favor of ONGC today. The first one, of course, being that gas prices, they have been hiked by 40%. That is for the second half of FY23 to $8.57 per MMBTU. This compares with $6.1 per MMBTU. And this is the highest domestic gas level that we have seen since 2014. That is, since the time APM gas pricing formula came into being. The ceiling for gas from domestic difficult fields is set at $12.5 per MMBTU, up 25%. On the back of which CLSA says that gas price hike to add value worth 35 to 40% of current prices of ONGC and Oil India both. The second one being the decline in windfall taxes that we have seen. Windfall taxes on crude oil production have been cut to 8,000 rupees per ton versus 10,500 rupees per ton earlier. And CLSA says this, of course, is a $5 per barrel cut that we have seen. This compares with $4 per barrel cut that we saw a fortnight ago as well. So there has been a continuous reduction in line with cut in crude prices, which is a positive, and this implies a post-tax realization of $75 per barrel for ONGC, and that is a big positive because right now it is pricing at $40 per barrel as realization. The third is that Brent crude prices, they have surged overnight up around 2.5 to 3%, and this is ahead of the OPEC Plus meet, which is expected on October 5th, and OPEC Plus is considering an output cut of 50,000 to 1 million barrels per day. So that would mean more price hikes for crude oil prices, which is ultimately positive for ONGC. In terms of valuations, as I already said, it is actually factoring in just $40 per barrel as realization. So there is a big upside expected, and it is trading at 4 times FY23 EPS. So valuations are still very reasonable, and that makes a case for upside for the stock.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for that. But MGL is also down in trade quite a bit. Is it because of that tariff increase?
Yes, it is because of that. There has been a new order that has come in for MGL where the PNGRB has ordered MGL to pay pipeline tariff for the Uran-Trombay line as per the approved rate from January 2014. This has been an ongoing case between ONGC and MGL for a long time. MGL has appealed to different forums, but finally PNGRB has come out with an order, and they say that this is to be cleared in 2 months, otherwise they'll have to also pay interest on this particular amount. While the order does not mention a specific amount, in their notes to accounts, MGL had earlier said that the contingent liability that they have related to this particular order is around 330 crore rupees. And this total demand is from November 2008 to July 2021. And according to calculation, this implies a 33 rupees per share impact on the stock price as well. And analysts say that recurring impact on the EPS would be around 1.5 to 2 rupees per share. But remember, it is a one-time impact if they show it in their books. However, the company sources are telling me that they will contest the order in higher courts. But seems like since the PNGRB order has come in, the company will have to pay this amount. And that's why, other than the gas price hike, this is also impacting the stock price today.
Take that point. Thanks a lot. MGL is down almost 3% as we speak. But let's stick around with this theme itself. Let's also get in Harsha Upadhyay of Kotak Mahindra AMC's opinion on these gas price hikes. He spoke to us this morning.
Obviously, what has happened over the last 12-18 months in terms of price hikes has been difficult for some of these players to manage. While until now they have managed their margins broadly, taking the consumer prices up. But the recent hike is again going to leave some pain in the short term until they manage their overall cost dynamics. But we do believe that what we have seen in the 12-18 months in terms of gas prices may be behind us, and going forward, very unlikely that you will see this kind of price increases. Probably you can see gas prices peaking out as well. So given that context and the fact that these are near monopolies, we continue to hold a little bit of position in city gas distribution at this point of time.
Okay, well, let's move on to one of the top gainers on the Nifty today. Coal India is the third top gainer on the Nifty at this point. The company recorded growth in its coal production during the April to September period. Nigel is here to give us more statistics. Nigel.
Well, Coal India came out with its September operational update, and in fact, it looked quite good. On the production front, well, they continue to do very, very well. The volumes are up by close to 12%. And off-take front, well, it was up close to around 1% or thereabouts. But for a September quarter, when you do close to around 49 million tons odd, it seems the street likes that. Now, year to date, that's for the first 6 months of the year. Production numbers up by close to around 20%. You have off-take that's up close to around 8%. And the management says that they have achieved more than what they set out to on the off-take front. So close to around 102% of what they initially set out to. And on the production front, they say they've already achieved close to around 43% of their targeted 700 million tons. And as we know, second half of the year, volumes do pick up. So all in all, it seems a good set of numbers coming in from Coal India.
Okay, a good set of numbers coming in from Coal India. But let's get back to the pharma space. If you just saw, the stock of Zydus Life Sciences was flashing on the screen. It's up 5% right now. Lupin is also buzzing in trade. Ekta, why is that?
Well, I'll start with Lupin, which is in focus because they've received an establishment inspection report, which is an EIR for their Ankleshwar facility, Ankleshwar manufacturing facility. The inspection at the company's facility was conducted from August 16th to 19, 2022. So that basically the EIR, the street is assuming, is going to be an all clear for Lupin for this particular facility, and hence you can see that the stock is higher by around 4%. Now, the other stock in focus is Zydus Life, and remember that Lupin is also reacting to such a piece of news, whereas it is largely normal course of business because Ankleshwar really wasn't under the scanner. The Zydus Life stock is in focus because they've received 2 US FDA approvals for drugs. So the first one, which is probably aiding the stock in terms of sentiment, is that they have received US FDA nod for Mirabegron ER, which is extended release tablets, and the drug is indicated for the treatment of an overactive bladder. The market size is huge. It's $2.42 billion. Lupin received approval last week. Analysts say that it is a confidential settlement date. Base case is a CY23 launch, and it could be competitive with 6 to 7 filers. But what is setting Zydus apart is that they have said that they've got exclusivity, shared exclusivity on this particular drug. Net, what they finally make, how many people are probably going to sell the drug during that 180-day time is something that the street will look out for. And however, whoever I've spoken to has said that it is quite a competitive market in terms of this particular drug. Now, they have also received approval for another drug, sildenafil, which is for oral suspension. It is used to treat high blood pressure in lungs. Market size around $65 million. So the fact that US drug approvals are picking up is positive for them.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, Ekta. With that, we slip into a short break, and on the other side, we bring you the spotlight on India's credit market in August. A complete explainer